This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. Hope you had a nice weekend, and ready or not, it is Monday, February 1st.
Now at 6 a.m. developing news in Lexington. One person was killed in an early morning crash.
We'll have the latest from there. Also, it was Lexington's worst fire in 3 decades. We're live this morning at Bluegrass Stockyards with the latest on how the business is planning to move forward.
More repairs are needed after a crash caused a gas leak in Lexington.
We have some showers outside early this morning. It's going to be a wet go at it there on the roads. It's pretty widespread too. Most of this light, but you're getting some embedded heavier downpours in some spots. 52 by the afternoon. The afternoon, those showers are long gone, so it's mainly the first half of your day. We're going to talk about that and that also a severe weather threat. It's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, and here's the latest news.
New on WKYT this morning, Appian Way in Lexington's back open after a deadly crash.
It happened about 2:30 this morning between Tates Creek and Armstrong Mill Roads. WKYT's Mike Byer is live now with the latest on this developing story, and he joins us. Mike?
Hey guys, good morning. I'm in the 3700 block of Appian Way where a single car crash has claimed the life of a man. Now I'm going to step out of the shot here and kind of paint the scene for you. That truck was coming along Appian Way right up the road right here, as you can see through the camera lens, and veered off the road, striking this tree in the front yard of this house with the Christmas lights on, which is it's just in front of this light pole. It might be kind of hard to see through your lens, but Lexington police tell us the accident happened shortly after 2:30 this morning. Investigators say that's when an adult man was traveling on Appian Way from Tates Creek Road when he lost control of his truck and hit a tree. We've learned from officers that the man has died. He died here at the scene. His name is not being released at this time. Now, investigators aren't sure what caused the man to lose control of his truck. At this point, it could be a number of things, from a medical condition to wet roadways. Now, police had this section of Appian Way closed off, but have since reopened it. If we learn what caused this accident, when we do, we will keep you updated online and on air. For now, live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, thanks so much, Mike. Try to stay dry out there this morning. Well, 2 days later, crews still on the scene of that massive fire that destroyed Bluegrass Stockyards in Lexington.
Saturday's fire created huge amounts of smoke that could be seen as far away as Louisville. Officer Don flew over the scene in Sky First. You can see the view there from the sky. Many are calling it Lexington's worst fire in at least 30 years. Investigators have started interviewing witnesses now, but they're also still monitoring that scene. And WKYT's Mark Barber is live now in Lexington over there at the Stockyards with this update. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. While it's been more than 36 hours since that massive fire burned the Bluegrass Stockyards to the ground, it is still creating a number of problems this morning. As you just mentioned, those hot spots. Another serious problem, the air quality. Now, something that is working in the favor of firefighters this morning, that would be the steady rain that we're seeing here this morning. And while that is helping keep everything wet, the 7 to 10 acre site here that burned near Lyle Industrial Avenue and South Forbes Road, much of it is still smoking this morning. So firefighters still keeping a very close watch on things here. Now, this massive fire started here at the Stockyards around 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. It only took a few hours, but in that time space, it burned through much of the Stockyards, as well as nearly half a dozen other nearby businesses. Now, firefighters this morning, they're still investigating. They say they do not know what caused the fire at this time. They say it's still too early to really determine the cause. So at this point, they're still working to figure out where it started and how it started. One way that they're hoping to figure that out, they say they're interviewing witnesses. Now, while their investigation continues, the air quality is being tested in nearby neighborhoods. Now, coming up on WKYT News at 6:30, we will explain what investigators have found in the air quality here and why they are issuing a health warning, and also really urging people to stay away from this area and how you can protect yourself. Again, that's coming up next on WKYT News at 6:30. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Certainly some lingering issues over there. Thank you very much, Mark. The Bluegrass Stockyards has been a part of the Lexington community for 70 years. And over those years, many have made memories at the historic building. For the first time in a decade, Brittany Newby visited the Bluegrass Stockyards after the fire. She told us the yards were her version of Disneyland when she was growing up. Even though the buildings are gone, her fond memories couldn't be touched by that devastating fire.
And even though that the building's gone and memories will stop being made here, you know, the ones that were already made will definitely be cherished.
The owners are still working out how they plan to rebuild the stockyards. They say they will do that, but many say part of Lexington's history was lost on Saturday. Now, you can find more coverage of the massive stockyards fire at WKYT.com. We'll stay on top of the story.
Well, 2 men are recovering this morning after an explosion at their eastern Kentucky home. Firefighters in Pike County think a gas explosion caused the home in Robinson's Creek Road area to catch fire. Firefighters say 2 men were working on a motorcycle when the fire started. They managed to escape but did suffer some severe burns. Firefighters say the homeowner's pet died in the explosion. In Rockcastle County, a car caught fire on US 461 near the Pulaski County line. Dispatchers say no one was hurt. Firefighters were able to put out the flames quickly.
The time is 6:05 and new this morning. More repairs are going to be needed after a truck crashed into a gas line in Lexington. The crash happened a little before midnight last night on Old Frankfort Pike near North Yarnleton Road. The driver told police that he swerved to miss an oncoming car before he hit the gas line, causing a leak. Columbia Gas was able to stop the leak overnight. Police say outbound Old Frankfort Pike may need to be shut down at some point later today while crews make more permanent repairs.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Most of it's just light rain, but you are getting some embedded heavier downpours, especially as you work your way through Scott County and now making its way into Harrison County. That's one area that we're really focused in on at this very moment. That's heavy rain. Barry, Cynthiana go up 62 and also 27. It's going to be a wet go at it. Robertson County, Mount Olivet, you are next in line. Next 20, 25 minutes, you can expect that to roll on through. Pretty heavy rain coming in, and that's high reflectivity when you start to see that red and that orange show up. Right over Sadieville, Georgetown, you're going to get the southern extent of this. You won't get the bulk of it, but you will get at least some heavier downpours here in just about 5 minutes. More heavy rain down south, just south of Berea. If you head through the Big Hill region, just picked up some pretty heavy downpours. Then go into Sand Gap and work your way down 421 all the way through downtown McKee, and also making your way into Annville here shortly. 5-10 minutes and you'll start to see that heavy rain move on through out of Rockcastle County. Rockcastle County 75. It's going to be a wet go at it this morning if you're heading out here within the next couple of minutes. Here's your front. Obviously you can see that on the screen, the colder air to the north, milder air down toward the south and southeast. The front's moving through. Remember, the bulk of the rain's during the morning hours. Afternoon is mainly for the mountainous regions in southeastern Kentucky. So afternoon will actually turn out to be mainly dry. Temperatures in the 50s, not all that bad. Then we go throughout the night and into tomorrow, and we clear everything on out. Daylight hours looks good tomorrow. Off into the evening and into the night, this is your severe weather timing. This is going to be for tomorrow, remember, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. across 65 and to the far western zones. That does include Marion, Washington, and then work your way up toward, say, Frankfort and Shelby County. Then you work your way into Lexington, 75, that's 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., and that takes you all the way to Laurel County and also Somerset. And then you go 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's for far east and southeastern Kentucky. What about the severe weather threat? Well, it looks like damaging wind is going to be your main threat. Then the next threat should be tornadoes, but that is very, very low, okay? So you got to keep that in mind, that this tornadic threat is extremely low. We just can't rule it out, all right? Let's check out your 7-day forecast and what you can expect. Today, with those showers ending here in the next several hours, I would say late morning, early afternoon, most of the showers will be long gone. Then we look toward your 7-day forecast. Tuesday night off into Wednesday morning, that's when you expect those storms to roll on through. So remember, during the day tomorrow, it'll actually be really nice. A lot of wind with that in that 20 to 40 miles per hour wind. That's without the storms. Then the storms roll through, and we're looking for damaging winds being our main player out of this system. So a big system rolling through, that's something to watch out for in the next 24, 48 hours.
We know y'all be watching.
Absolutely.
Each morning we bring you weather and traffic together. Here's Officer Don with a look at what's happening out on the roads. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, of course, the roads are wet, and that's going to have an impact for us this morning, but at least no wrecks as of this moment on the circle or the interstate to deal with. For the most part, traffic's light and moving okay. Let's get a look outside. We'll give you an overall view of traffic flow this morning in real time, and we're good to go on the interstate, the circles. You can see inbound Nicholasville Road as well. Now, as far as our drive times are concerned, the wet roads will have an impact a little bit later, but this early we're okay from Nicholasville at 13 minutes, from Paris 18, and then from Winchester about 32. 2. Of course, we'll keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, we know you will, and some challenges out there on this first day of February with that rain. It is coming up right now on 6:10 Monday morning on WKYT.
A Virginia teenager abducted and murdered. Now police have charged 2 college students in the case.
Candidates turn up the intensity just hours before the first votes are cast in the Iowa caucuses. I'm Marley Hall in Des Moines with the latest coming up.
Welcome back in. We're rolling up on 6:14 on WKYT.
Well, the first votes in the 2016 presidential election will be cast tonight in Iowa.
It's been talked about a long time, hasn't it? Candidates are making their closing arguments as polls show tight races on both sides. Marley Hall has the latest from Des Moines, Iowa.
Hoping to dampen Donald Trump's momentum, Texas Senator Ted Cruz made his final pitch to Iowa voters Sunday.
If everyone here brings 9 other people to the caucuses tomorrow night, we will win the caucuses tomorrow. We will win the nomination, and we will win the general election in November 2016.
During an event in Sioux City, Trump pushed back, this time labeling Cruz dishonest and deceptive for sending out this flyer.
Voter violation, and it's like an official document being sent to people in Iowa. That is really terrible. It's a fraud as far as I'm concerned.
Forecasts here in Iowa are calling for snow in parts of the state beginning tonight, which could have an impact on voter turnout. Volunteers for both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton knocked on doors and made calls late into the night as the 2 candidates made their closing arguments.
Here's a radical idea. Together, we're going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%.
I will stand up and fight for you every single day of this campaign, and then when we win, I will fight for you in the White House.
Clinton lost Iowa during her presidential bid in 2008. Political analysts say this time around, the former Secretary of State is working on her likability.
She's focused a lot on her relationship with people. She's focused a little bit more on middle-class issues.
With polls showing tight races on both sides, the fight for Iowa could come down to the wire. Marley Hall, CBS News, Des Moines, Iowa.
And Iowa voters will begin to caucus at 7 o'clock tonight, their local time. That's 8 o'clock our time here in the Eastern time zone. 2 Virginia Tech engineering students are accused in connection with the abduction and murder of a 13-year-old Virginia girl. 18-year-old David Eisenhower is charged with first-degree murder and abduction in the death of Nicole Madison Lovell, who disappeared from her home Wednesday. 19-year-old Natalie Keepers faces charges of improper disposal of a body and accessory after the fact in the commission of a felony. Investigators say Eisenhower and the little girl knew each other and that he used that to his advantage to abduct the 13-year-old and then kill her.
Another original member of Jefferson Airplane has died. Singer Sydney Tolley Anderson died at her home in Beaverton, Oregon last week. The same day Airplane member Paul Kantner died. Anderson was 74 and had been suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. She left the band after its first record and was replaced by Grace Slick. A University of Florida student is dead after falling out of a 6th-floor balcony at his apartment. People who live at the Social 28 apartments just across the street from UF in Gainesville say they've never seen anything like this. Students say they are in shock after learning about the events that led to the student's death. According to police, a surveillance video at the apartment shows Chance Wolf walking down the hallway, opening a set of doors, and then falling over the partition on the balcony. Players from the Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers fielded questions from reporters for Super Bowl Media Day. The teams arrived in the Bay Area yesterday ahead of the big game. Media Day is typically held on Tuesday morning, but took place last night for the first time ever. You can see Super Bowl 50 on Sunday right here on WKYT.
All right, it's going to be exciting, certainly. Our time this morning is 6:17, and Cuba is going online with the launch of the first broadband home internet service in 2 neighborhoods in Havana. Right now, home broadband is only legal for diplomats and employees of foreign companies. The government will also let cafes, bars, and restaurants now connect to broadband. Google is reportedly testing solar-powered drones that could deliver high-speed internet from the air as fast as 40 times faster than 4G. Now, according to The Guardian, secretive test flights are being conducted above Spaceport America out in New Mexico. The project is codenamed Skybender. Toyota is halting production at all car assembly plants in Japan for a week because of a parts shortage. The shortfall was caused by an explosion last month at a facility at one of its suppliers. The blast is thought to have been caused by a gas leak. Toyota says the shutdown will run from February 8th to February 13th. The automaker produced an average of 60,000 vehicles a week in Japan last year. You may be able to get a job playing with Legos all day long, if that's what you like to do. The company is wanting to hire 20 master builders at its Florida factory to make, quote, sturdy, accurate, complicated, safe, and installable Lego models. The hiring process will include taking part in a Lego build-off. So there you go. Could be something some people might look forward to.
You know, that's a pretty sweet gig, it sounds like, especially for like Tom Hanks and Big, remember?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's one of my favorites. WKYT This Morning is just getting started. New details about the death of a teenager inside a Kentucky detention center coming up at 6:30.
Heavier downpours really picking up steam. It's going to be a wet go at it this morning for your early morning commute. Afternoon looks much better than that severe weather threat for tomorrow. We're going to talk all about these details coming up next.
6:22 is the time this morning. Lexington Road is back open after an early morning deadly crash.
That's what's trending at this hour. The crash happened about 2:30 this morning between Tates Creek and Armstrong Mill Roads. Police say the driver of a truck died after crashing into a tree in the front yard of a home. The victim's name has not been released at this point.
Investigators have started interviewing witnesses of Saturday's massive fire that destroyed bluegrass stockyards. Nearly 50 cows were killed in the blaze that destroyed 7 acres of the stockyards and damaged several other nearby businesses as well.
Police say a stretch of outbound Old Frankfort Pike might need to be shut down at some point later today, while crews can make more permanent repairs to a damaged gasoline line. That's a gas line. A truck crashed into that gas line overnight. Columbia Gas was able to stop that leak overnight. Check weather now. Here is Micah as we have some rain this morning.
Pretty heavy rain in some spots too. That's over Harrison County and also Scott County, getting the brunt of it in the northern zones. Lexington, some light rain, but a little bit moderate rain will start to fly on in here in just about 15 minutes. Over Jackson County, heading toward the Mountain Parkway, and also Breathitt County, here comes some moderate rain. Then some heavy downpours across Casey County. That's Dunville, Liberty. Dunville, not so much just yet, but it's going to be moving through here in just a few minutes, and also Adair County really getting the downpours at this moment. All this is moving northeast, which tells you you still got a long ways to go, okay? So this is going to take some time to get on out of here, but now starting to see a lot of that rain kind of taper off in the far north. You get across I-71, going off into places like Carroll County, and then work your way back toward the west just a bit. Gallatin and also Trimble County, those areas really fading away. That's going to be the case as we go through the day. So the heaviest rain, the bulk of the rain is this morning, fades during the afternoon hours. I'd say around noontime, the only chance of rain is down toward the southeast, and then once we hit 4 p.m., most of the rain's already gone. Temperatures will be there in the low 50s when it's all said and done. We go overnight and into tomorrow morning, still staying dry. Tomorrow during the daylight hours, if you remember yesterday was just phenomenal. We actually reached 69 degrees here in Lexington. Those gusty winds, that's the way it's going to be during the daylight hours, but evening and night, here comes that chance at strong to severe storms. I'm going to go over the effects of this, how it's going to affect your day and the timing, just a few minutes.
All right, something we're going to watch very carefully. It's 6:25 now. You know, we were talking earlier. It seems you're right in the middle of the raw of winter, then suddenly it's Mardi Gras.
You know, which is
south.
Always nice to know. It's encouraging, right, for spring.
Exactly.
More than a week away from Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras celebrations already underway in New Orleans.
Yeah, in Baton Rouge, carnival season has gone to the dogs. One motley crew marched down the downtown streets there. This year's theme, Paw Wars. You can check out the canine versions of all of your favorite characters, from Chewie to Yoda. It's always an event that pleases members of the family and a lot of people who gathered there for the big event.
Four-legged and two-legged friends alike. I like it.
There you go. Well, they say everything is bigger in Texas, but one duo's getaway car did not fit that bill.
Police say 2 men tried to steal a large safe from a mobile home park in San Marcos, Texas, but they didn't get very far, mainly because the safe didn't fit in the car. The big safe got stuck in the car door. A homeowner saw the theft in progress, called 911. Surveillance camera recorded it. allowing deputies to get a good description of the thieves, who were promptly arrested.
Well, that didn't work out so
yeah,
well for them, did it?
Could be a problem. And it
right.
was.
Our time is 6:26, Super Bowl week. WKYT this morning, back with more news in just a moment.
Well, the Bluegrass Stockyards wasn't the only business damaged in that massive fire over the weekend. We'll hear from other local businesses on how they're dealing with losses at 6:30.
And Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot, $63 million. Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $112 million. We're coming right back on WKYT This Morning.